Bodies are only accessories, discardable and utilized based on need. Accessories. Can you believe that? Like a cheap handbag you borrow to get laid.
Please, that's entirely out of context. We haven't even introduced the book yet. That quote, while admittedly visceral, refers to the body-jumping mechanic in Chloe Gong's Immortal Longings.
Visceral. It's creepy. People were screaming about this thing, calling it Antony and Cleopatra meets The Hunger Games. More like Freaky Friday meets a restraining order. And someone literally asked, do these people even like each other? About the main couple.
Such language. While the discourse has been fervent, the novel attempts a complex blend of science fiction, fantasy, and political intrigue, retelling a classic tragedy within the dystopian city of San Ir. It explores themes of
boredom mostly. Seriously. Making Cleopatra boring. That's the real tragedy here. It's worse than when you tried to convince me. Heathcliff was just misunderstood. In Wuthering Heights, he was a miserable git. End of story.
Heathcliff's Byronic complexities are entirely beside the point. We are discussing Calla Tuoleimi, the supposed Cleopatra analog. Reviewers found her underdeveloped. Less unhinged assassin princess, more petulant teenager who happens to kill people, including her parents.
Nepo baby strikes again. Kills mum and dad. Claims it's for the revolution, but mostly mopes around being Aji. And Anton. The Antony stand-in. What a drip. They called him a nothing burger. A generic bad boy, whose main personality trait is hijacking sexy bodies. Reminds me of my ex, Kevin. Total commitment phobe. Always looking for an upgrade.
Comparing a character grappling with loss and forced into a deadly game to the Kevin, Anton is supposedly using his game winnings to care for his Commodus' former lover while simultaneously pursuing Calla. It speaks to a profound moral conflict, a fractured psyche.
Fractured. He's just horny and indecisive. And that August guy. The Octavian, bleach blonde schemer. Total snake. I bet his sidekick Gallopay is secretly in love with him. One reviewer's gaydar was apparently screaming. Honestly, the only character worth rooting for was the cat. Mr. Mau Mau.
The feline companion did seem refreshingly straightforward. But the central issue, the one reviewers rightly fixated on, is this body-jumping intimacy. The ethical implications are staggering. Inhabiting another person's body. Using it for physical pleasure. Where is the consent of the original owner? Are they conscious? It's horrifying.
Right? And just weird. Like logistics. Do you finish in their body? Does the original owner get a contact high? And how awkward is it when you jump back into your own body? Sorry, I borrowed your spleen for a quickie. It's just icky.
Precisely. Icky is the operative word many used. Which brings us to the question beyond the controversial elements, is Immortal Longings actually any good? One reviewer bluntly stated it reads as a mess. Another called the characters two-dimensional, reprehensible.
Reprehensible and boring. And the plot. What plot? It's Hunger Games but stupider. The whole city is the arena. Random bystanders get bodies snatched and killed. But the players can just chill in apartments. And apparently, you can just disable the kill switch wristbands. Why is everyone murdering each other if you can just opt out? It makes no sense. It's like Squid Game run by idiots.
The internal logic of the games is frequently questioned. The world building itself relies heavily on repetitive info dumps about the city's squalor. It's less immersive, more poverty wallpaper, as some noted. And the romance, oh dear, one reviewer mocked a supposedly steamy scene with the line, "Finger his wound if you're nasty."
Oh my God, stop. That's gold. Did they actually do that? Please tell me they didn't. That's not hot. That's unsanitary. We got a message, probably from Brenda in accounting. Bless her. Asking if the body jumping is like that. K-drama Alchemy of Souls. Brenda. Honey, I think Alchemy of Souls had more rules and less accessory. bodies.
Indeed, the comparison highlights the novel's perceived lack of depth in exploring its own concepts. While I appreciate the ambition of blending genres and tackling Shakespeare, the execution feels shallow. It tries so hard to be dark and adult, but often stumbles into YA tropes without the accompanying heart. Though I will concede that cliffhanger ending was infuriating. A cheap shot, really.
See, even you admit it's a mess. Okay? Rating time. I give Immortal Longings 2 out of 5 borrowed bodies. I definitely wouldn't want back. Keep your creepy cooties to yourself, Anton.
A difficult assessment. For the sheer audacity of the premise, perhaps a point. For the failure to explore its ethical quagmire, deductions must be made. I'll give it 4 out of 10 existential crises induced by contemplating non-consensual body swapping. It aims for profundity, lands in confusion.
So it's bad, but you gave it more crises. Next week, folks, we're tackling a real literary heavyweight. My sentient toaster tried to seduce my husband. Get ready.
Until then, keep your pages turning and your bodies your own. This has been Heartbook Radio.